till my speaker come. I'll keep going till my speaker come blow. I'll keep going till my speaker come blow. I'll keep going till my speaker come blow. I'll keep going till my speaker come blow.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these restless nights, all these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a Benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of A to Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brother since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could light the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. The way you like it. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my speakers come. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. 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 Going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my speakers come. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. 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 I'll keep going till my speakers come blow.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, ain't know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brother since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Czechs.
Welcome everybody, we're here for ESL Challenger League Season 51, Cup number 1 for South America. It's Laz and Paladin here to bring you through the action on this fine Friday. And Paladin, it's good to be back with you, man. It's been a little bit of a hot minute.
Yeah, it looks like I am. Yeah, always happy to be back. Laz, it's been a hot minute, but excited to get back into the saddle, and we're gonna be on together for a lot of the South American games, and we've got a banger today. I mean, MIBR taking on ODDIK. MIBR kind of the expected winners of this game, the favorites, so to speak, but ODDIK making a lot of different changes in the recent months that leads me to believe that they're still gunning for the top spots in Brazil. They still want to achieve major status and get back to that situation that they were in not too long ago. Let's see if they can eclipse that, because they still have a very nice core for themselves that could potentially propel them to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, before we deep dive into it, let's just bring up a little bit about even the prize pool, right? Because we were talking about, for this is the Cup one, and there's a little bit of money at stake for this for all these teams, and a lot more of well, I shouldn't say a little bit of money. It's actually a really nice, good chunk of money here for these teams. And as you can see, the breakdown, with the 17,500, that gets kind of split apart here. So a lot is riding at stake, and we talk about the money, we talk about VRS points, we talk about all these things. So this is a really good thing, a lot for these teams. So the other thing is too, Paladin, I wouldn't mind just bringing up the bracket, which we got right here. So you can see that there's been some interesting matchups, and I don't know from your perspective if there's been anything as a major highlight. I think the one thing that I was a little bit surprised about personally was the ODDIK versus the Red Candidates game, where ODDIK actually were able to win that series. So I kind of thought that was a little bit interesting, considering Red Candidates really did seem like a favorite, or one of the favorites to me.
Yeah, I think Red Candidates have a lot of work to do when they've lost so many different players and added new ones in that I don't think they really know what their identity is just yet. And similar to ODDIK, they're in that rebuilding phase for themselves right now, and that's just kind of how things go for them. But for me, I think that the most surprising story is Shinden. This is a team that I really love following, and I've been following for quite some time, and they're still in the upper bracket, and they knock Sharks down to the lowers. So now you've got this spicy matchup in that upper or lower bracket quarterfinal between Imperial and Sharks, who both of these teams are in complete flux right now because of all the changes that have come through. Now Imperial don't have a try anymore, so where does the firepower come from in that roster? I'm very curious. So a lot of really good Counter-Strike on the table today here in South America.
Yeah, no doubt about it, right? I mean, there's been a lot of ups and downs here through the brackets, and a lot of surprising factors that have kind of put some teams into the lower that we were mentioning, just kind of a little bit surprising in that regard. But look, I mean, the bracket's been really exciting. This has so far been a great start to the whole, season 51, just seeing how everything's going to pan out. But let's talk a little bit about these two teams, right? We have MIBR, like you mentioned, taking on ODDIK. I think a very unique matchup in the sense of you have a very long household name of MIBR, which will bring up the stats here a little bit for you. But I mean, I'll leave it to you. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with the history of this team, but obviously there's been a lot of additions and changes that have happened as of more recently.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this team. I see the addition of Venom Zera, and I'm really excited to see him take a leap up. I mean, I feel like some situations he's kind of been letting me down, but towards the tail end of Red Candidates, I've still seen flashes from him that make me excited. And then, of course, the European blood that's now being mixed into this team, with LNZ being added as a new caller instead of kicker, and that superstar caliber opper in Clem, who, for all intents and purposes, is now a huge focal point in this team. Now the question is how does LNZ adapt Insani and Klim into this new style, and can they potentially climb up the rankings as far as possible and potentially become internationally relevant again, because it's been a long time for them. And I think the same thing kind of goes for ODDIK in a way, where they haven't really gotten to the international point of competition all too much, beyond the major appearance. but they're hoping that this addition of Dio, Zera, and Nardes could potentially get them over the top.
Yeah, definitely, right? Because I think, Dio has definitely been able to prove, statistically, like, so far it looks like it's working out well. Like, he's sitting himself at a 1.14 stat rating, with the team, like the second highest right behind Case Lock. So things are looking okay. But that's the thing is, like you said, is that it's a lot of rebuilding. We're still kind of figuring out what's going on with ODDIK. They're kind of just meshing some more players to see what they can do a little bit differently. And as you can see, like kind of based on their map stats alone, everything's kind of like low amount of playing time that they've had together. Everything's kind of well balanced, I guess, in a way. Like you're seeing a lot of 4-and-4, 3-and-3s, these odd 3-and-1s, but you have to still kind of give, the other aspect of it is that, this is different competition, whereas a team like MIBR, they do have a little bit more of that experience with some of these players that are on the original roster, where that does make a bit of an influx in the change of competition.
We'll get into the veto now to kind of discuss where this series is going to head, and I think MIBR have a lot of advantages that they could potentially use here. Mirage being taken out of the pool, Dust 2, these are your standard permas from both sides. Overpass being picked into by ODDIK. Very interesting that they want to go into this direction. It's definitely the least tested in this series, in this series as far as the pool is concerned for MIBR. So that'll be interesting that they want to try and maybe have a game plan there. But then MIBR get themselves Inferno and Ancient, which have been stalwarts for them, and some real struggles of maps for ODDIK that I just feel like MIBR run the table with this kind of a veto that it's essentially do or die on Overpass. And I believe that the head-to-head on Inferno between these two sides is incredibly lopsided towards MIBR. So I don't really fancy their chances in this matchup. I think they've got a lot of work to do to become a better roster. But of course, when you've got Night and when you got Case Locks on this roster, you're still gonna give them a little bit of a puncher's chance. So I'm hoping to see if they can throw those swings here on Overpass specifically to start.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Paladin. Like, I definitely think, the Overpass one, that was called from ODDIK. I don't hate it. I think it's a bit interesting, but I mean, they technically have, 4 games officially under their belt. They've actually set themselves in a decent record of a 3-and-1 record, 3 actually in a row where they've actually been able to beat Imperial. They've beaten Bounty Hunters, Game Hunters. So it's not bad results, right? Whereas on the other comparison for a team like MIBR, they're kind of on a 2-map winning streak of this against 9Z and 4 Magic and stuff, which again you can argue. So like theoretically probably not the statistically strongest map, but this is a do or die moment. Like this map absolutely needs to go in ODDIK's way. Otherwise, I agree with you. Like this is a completely different competition when we get into Inferno, because MIBR, I mean, they're sitting in a 12-and-5 record. Like this is, they've had a little bit of up and down, I guess, recently, if you really want to call it that. Like they took the odd loss against ODDIK before, but at the same breath though, I mean, normally they have such strong stats and the players, and just the way they play with a 12-and-5 record is something you really got to take for a lot of consideration.
Yeah, MIBR now on a 14-match win streak, and that's not an easy number to just produce. They've been dominating within the region. They've been doing it in LAN play as well, going to a lot of local ones in Brazil right now, and they have really just dominated across the board. That they're a cut above basically every team in the tournament right now. So for me, the expectation for them is just to outright win the cup with ease, right? I mean, you look at the upper bracket, Shinnon and Glories. Those should be walk in the park opponents for MIBR. And yeah, you might probably have to play one of Imperial Sharks, Red Canids that come through the lowers, but even then, I still think that you could give them a good shout in MIBR's favor, especially with how influx all of these rosters are. That MIBR, like, this is one of those games where they're just trying to take care of business here and make it as quick and easy as possible. And maybe we'll get to learn things about this team along the way as to, the development of LNZ's system and how he's working with Letney. And then, of course, just how the superstars are working in this system. How does Insani look? And how does Klim look? And do we get flashes out of both Venom, Zera, and Breno, who are still kind of quietly exciting pieces in this team?
Yeah, and honestly, I think the one thing I really took out of this piece you said too is, and I couldn't agree with you more, is the fact of, you know, MIBR have really just been grinding, right? Like we know there's been new additions to the roster. Like you said, they've been playing in LAN environments. They've really just been, you know, with the addition of LNZ and just kind of getting everything in motion. Like they want to get the official reps under the belt. I think that's super important because, you know, I think there's a lot of argument about the teams like 100 Thieves where they took a long time to get some officials under their debut, right? So where a team like MIBR with a little bit of a rebuild, they're just kind of getting their heads down in the server, playing the officials, learning the mistakes and adjusting quickly, which I really do admire. And like you said, a 14 map, you know, or 14 matches in a row is really, again, a bit of a scary record if you're ODDIK, where you have to go, okay, look, like these guys are clearly making things work. They're playing a lot better than they were before. So that, you know, puts a bit more pressure against MIBR, but I think ODDIK definitely have to be well aware of what they have to, you know, face into this circumstance. But I think Overpass will be definitely an interesting one just because, again, both these teams don't really have a lot of, you know, officials under it. It isn't always utilized. So that's where it's a bit of a question mark for me, but it's really who's going to like fly out the gate and try to make a bit of a statement in this best of 3.
Yeah, the other problem with me is that, like, yes, the rifle core can probably get you your foot in the door if you're ODDIK, but it's that op head-to-head that is really worrying for me, where Klim can be this very aggressive guy that takes over a game in his own regard and can be very disrespectful and disassemble a lot of T defaults. Woody is not that type of player. He's a lot more supportive. He's a lot more, I guess, passive in his style specifically, and that worries me for ODDIK because you want to have at least some semblance of a fight back in the op head-to-head, and I feel like this one's very lopsided, and usually that doesn't cost them because of how smart Woody can be in terms of the calling, but I feel like in this matchup it can only get you so far, and you're going to need firepower to be there for you. Otherwise, this game's just gonna blow past you as quickly as possible.
No, I agree. And, you know, the other player for me as well, you know, just talking about MIBR is someone like Insani, right? Like he normally can be this guy that, you know, can be the playmaker in the sense of getting like a lot of opening duels. You know, he is quite aggressive in his own play style where he can create some decent openings. So for me, that's where a player like him, I'd like to see what he can kind of activate in this matchup. Whereas, you know, for ODDIK, it's usually like Case Locks, that's kind of this guy that can really make some big plays, but I'm kind of thinking this is, you know, comparing an apple to an orange in some regard, because Insani, again, I talked about the international competition experience, really just playing at that high like level, where I think that gives him a lot more of a leg up when you kind of think about players that can make an impact. But again, that's just where do we see MIBR and how they're going to play, because we've seen in the past it's been a little bit slow. Well, we'll see if that's going to happen here. And right now we're on the first map, we're ready to go, we're in the server, and it is MIBR taking on ODDIK.
And it's a CT-sided start for MIBR. I'm curious to know as to where they're all playing from today. For LNZ and Klim's side, are they at a boot camp facility to have proper ping or what have you? But we'll see. I mean, we'll get a good idea as this game continues on. But I do think that some of these players that do play on high ping that are European still have some significant impact in the server. So even if that's the case, we'll keep an eye out. Opening start out for Insani, 1 bullet, 1 kill, 5-on-4 instantaneously.
Well, I talked about somebody making a bit of an opening here and who wants to fly out the gate. I guess Insani's gonna get himself a nice little bit of a one-tap, but nonetheless, I mean, MIBR being able to find the opening duel like that and being on the CT side, like you said, this gives them a really good position now because they don't really have to break too much of a sweat. Their defense doesn't need to change their composition too much. It's back to just the 3-2. Really, nothing's had to be adjusted, which is a really good position if you're ever on CT on this map, of course. But now it makes it really difficult for ODDIK. They don't really have, you know, a ton of utility. They have just Woody kind of, you know, posted up here with the smoke flash ready for a plot. But is it really anticipating the A hit in this one, considering the bomb's just kind of pushing through washroom, or do they kind of want to use this as a potential fake? Because you can see that Nate is just kind of waiting things out, kind of lurking in some regard. But it does look like they are actually just going to try to commit to this, and Insani trying to find a little bit more work with the USP if he can. Slightly pushed back, LNZ actually does catch a significant amount of damage. But let's see if he might be able to find a kill. These players are now just slowly finally pushing in, but the USPs, they're still packing a little bit of a punch here. The bomb's about to finally go down.
And well, they get rid of the lurk now, so 3-on-2 on the site, and Insani and Venom's era take care of business very easily. Well done to MIBR. It was a lot of trickery going around the map, and you gotta credit Dio0 for selling them down the river for a bit. You know, he gets a kill onto the B site, falls away, and even causes a little bit of indecisiveness on the rotation. But Insani is just such a stalwart force on the back of B. I mean, or back of A rather, just staying alive for so long, and then finally executing once Venom Zero gets back to dumpster. So great work from the CT side.
Yeah, it really was. And it's a good point you bring up too. I like the fact that there was a little bit of trickery too, because, you know, MIBR, they were actually just pulling back. They weren't just kind of like isolated in the site. They actually played a little bit more passively, like kind of going for that retake setup. And ODDIK were getting some good site control, but really it was just, you know, a matter of moments before they fell into the trap. So nice little bit of a crossfire that we see from the CT side. Good investment coming through. They're actually not even really going to mess around in the sense of, you know, the rifles. They actually equipped the M4s of FAMAS. They just put LNZ just on the MP9. So they're not even really just like SMG buffing. They're just keeping one of them in the rotation, which I feel like that's a bit surprising, Paladin, just considering you want to build up that economy, you know, if you can get an SMG.
Yeah, I think it's high risk, high reward for the CT side. It's like if you can keep 5 men alive, it's even better. But yeah, you would like to complete that base as quickly as possible. We'll see how it goes. Still very passive here on A. You don't have that oppressive AWP presence from Klim just yet, so willing to give a lot of bathrooms control and banana control as well over to this T side. But the rotation's got to be swift here because there's a jump spot off Dicebox, and they're scaling all the way through front bath. So this might become a little problematic with this Galil here from Dio0.
Ooh, that's a nice little bit of a pickup here. So Insani goes down very instantly now. So leaves Klim by himself here just behind Truck. He needs the perfect moment here, go for the swing, and there it is. A little bit of a peekaboo, but he can't seem to find the shots. It's a good reaction here from ODDIK. All 5 players are still alive. Some good damage inflicted. But that bomb should be able to get planted now. CT's down to 3 remaining players. And there is 2 wounded on the T side, but yeah, they might just have to save this, and that's exactly what we're going to see. They're just going to kind of slowly walk out of this. But they do have to kind of worry about Woody. He has actually just posted up here. This might be a prime opportunity. He might be able to find this one kill. He will not, but at least now he can communicate to his team and say, look, like, this is for sure a save. They're not even wanting to go for it, but this is a great take from ODDIK. It was very easy, very simple. It felt like as soon as they got Insani down, it felt like full steam ahead.
Yeah, I just don't like the amount of respect MIBR gives in that situation. There's no reason to play retake A or as passive A as you are in that situation, because as you noted, like, as soon as there is a player to come up through front bath, the round is just over. Like, Dio0 getting all the way up here is just, it's just not enough for MIBR, so they kind of fall apart there, and they'll be able to reinvest here. Klim will take out the scout, and I've seen him do some crazy things with that gun too. So don't count out MIBR in this round, but ODDIK now with a chance to break back for sure.
Yeah, it's you know, I like the point you bring up about, you know, MIBR is giving a lot of respect, and that is really interesting, right? Because I agree, like, I was kind of wondering, just given that they've been on a, you know, 14-match streak, they're playing really well right now in their region. Are they going to be a little bit more in the face and a little bit more aggressive? But it doesn't seem to be the case. It's actually ODDIK that are doing a really great job of just making these initial plays now. It was the first round we saw Insani that was able to get the opening duel. Now it's been ODDIK that's been just utilizing that opening frag, which has been really, really important. And now they can just kind of post up a little bit. They don't really have to break too much of a sweat. This is where I talked about the CT side gets a little bit scrambly, right? Because now they have to do something a little bit different with losing that one player. You can already see 3 are just kind of posted up in washroom, having just the lurk of just Venom Zera by himself. So things are getting a little bit more uncomfortable now.
Here comes the utility over the top, and it is just Venom Zera having to be the victim of a failed gamble, essentially. But he's got to come up big on his own, and he falls all the way back. So I think he'll be keen to just save the gun and go back, try again. They try their hand here, ODDIK, at just doing a solid B pop and MIBR gamble in the bathrooms. This time they go super aggressive in the bathrooms, and they're not really rewarded for it. You'll get a Galil upgrade, but as it stands, ODDIK. Okay, you're starting to see why this team is always going to be relevant in Brazil Counter-Strike, and it's Woody. It's just the calling always will give you a shot at any team that you play.
Yeah, that's definitely. I love that point too, because like again, you and I have covered a lot of South American matches, and that is always the thing, right? Like ODDIK and just Woody and what he's able to bring to the table. You can never count these guys out. Like they really are a decent competitor in the South American region. Like they can go toe to toe with some of these bigger name organizations like MIBR and so forth, right? Or Red Canids and stuff like that. You can never really know what to expect what he's going to call. So far it's been a pretty simple. It's like just some simple Counter-Strike that we're seeing from the T side. A lot of just like, again, finding these duels, just simple pops, and that's kind of it. Whereas MIBR, like you said, they're playing very passive. It seems like they're really treading the water. They're trying to figure out what they want to do. But now, again, with the money situation and the gun situation they're in, it's a little bit more all over the place in some regard. You have a scout for Klim. So this is where, what do they want to do differently? Are they going to keep playing the same setup? Do they want to try to be a bit more aggro? You can see that con control is being up a little bit for grabs here, but it's only one player that's kind of, essentially trying to hold the fort here on the CT side.
Zero gets all the way up into bathrooms, and Woody still gets that entry that he's looking for, so party aggression nullified, and Insomnia on the fadeaway.
Nice shot.
I thought would get punished, but what a shot there from Klim.
Yeah, that is a nice shot from Klim, and brings it right back to the 4-4. And this is where it's just interesting because Insomnia, again, he's still pushed up all the way. Klim's just kind of posted up in the back of this. And look at like ODDIK right now. You kind of have everything a little bit spread out. You have one player that's just kind of on the backside of long A right now, just kind of making some noise. Venom Zera is actually playing a very decent angle where he's actually able to find the first kill. Now he goes for another one-on-one engagement case locks. He actually tried to push that without his teammate. A bit of a mistake now mechanically here from ODDIK. They're just feeding these one-on-one duels, which MIB are going to take any day of the week. A little bit of a response here from ODDIK, but again, this is a good position for MIBR.
Weird rotation here from both Klim and Nardes. Nardes trying to sell something with how much sound he's making. And Klim will hear all of this, but you should know it's a fake, you're thinking. Worked. But there's no time. So I don't even really know what the point of that was. And they... Okay, I was going to say both die after time, but they died just before. So I guess it works out, but what a bizarre thing.
Yeah, that was a really awkward round because, again... It actually, I didn't think that fake was going to work because I was looking at the mini-map too and I saw those players, they actually were in the B site. They were rotating, like they were repositioning themselves, and that's exactly what ODDIK were able to catch them with the timing. But if they would have had that extra 2-3 seconds, then the bomb would have went down. Could have been a little bit of a different situation in some degree, but it was tight, right? They just let the clock run a bit too low. And that is something we've noticed with a team like ODDIK, right? They do like to play that slow style at times. They're not always the ones to kind of just initiate every single time and play really aggro. We'll see. That's a nice 2-2 game already. An op out here for Nardes as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's the first time we had the op, so it's always a good time.
Interesting that they do have Nardes upping. I'm actually surprised that they've gone in this direction. We'll see what he has to offer going toe-to-toe, but dangerous game here now with Insani aggressing up through long side. Are they aware of clearing out this tight angle? Yes, they are. But the flick around from Insani. What a 90-degree turn. You shouldn't be able to get out alive, though. And Diozera is there for the trade, but what a shot there from Insani.
Man, and Sonny's just been the one that on the MIBR side, like I feel like he's the guy that's really, again, just engaging a first duel. He's trying to just get some kind of, man advantage as quickly as possible. A little bit of what we talked about in the pre-show. Molly actually does burn Klim alive here, so this is a little bit awkward. And now LNZ can only find the one kill. He was in a really good position. Isn't now going to be able to throw the molly. Just places it in time, but there's still 10 seconds remaining here for the bomb to go down. No stress about it. But these CTs, yeah, they're done. They're just, again, they were hoping to see if they can catch the timing, maybe get a duel, but they got to go for a save one more time.
That Molotov did like 180 damage, and I have no idea how that's possible. Like, Klim goes down from 100 to 0, and then LNZ takes like 80 damage. And that one Molotov essentially just cost them the round, because, I mean, if they're both up, there's trade potential there, and you probably get a couple instead of just the one from the two players. So, real issues with MIBR out the gates here, where there are just some cohesion problems, some communication issues, and some of the rotations just feel really lethargic. Like, they don't really have a finger on the pulse at the moment. And ODDIK are utilizing that to the best of their abilities. It's going to be difficult to just outright win the series, but when you're getting moves and calls like this, if you're ODDIK, you got to take it as much as possible and run away with the map.
Double player pushing now from A side, and you got, I think that's actually Klim and also Insani, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're the ones pushing towards Fountain. So a little bit more of an aggressive stance here from MIBR, just trying to, again, change the pace, change the tempo just a little bit. ODDIK have actually made a little bit more of a ruckus here on towards short B. That bomb is dropped all the way in the back. So again, this is more about feelers, right? This is them just trying to look for things, just trying to find a pick, maybe just some kind of information gathering as much as possible. Utility going to get thrown here from ODDIK just on the half wall to see if they can catch somebody, but not going to be anyone home. Triple player setup here from the CT side in B. This has been pretty much the standard I think we've seen most of this game. And ODDIK still have a minute remaining, Paladin. Again, they're going to have to make a decision here soon, and they still have some utility they can work with, but they don't want to run the clock too low like they did before.
Ooh, LNZ alongside Diozera in the smoke, I believe, or something. They're very close to one another. And LNZ doesn't come out on the top. In fact, now it's stranded Insani, who would have had to have faced off against the entire crew, but they're going back B, and ODDIK have just completely surprised MIBR. It's all up to Klim here on the back of the site.
Oh, Klim has to just pop off now. He has to get this kill. He finds that first and does get the second. So now he's been able to put up a little bit of a barricade, but he needs more if he can. His teammates are finally there, but look at Klim. He just lights them up. I was getting a little bit nervous for him. I was getting a little bit worried for the sniper, but man, oh man, you get him that up like you talked about, and it's lights out.
Yeah, this is exactly why they got him from G2 Ares. He's a guy that has shown a lot of promise over there in EU. And doing the damage outright. And I mean, you gotta blame the spacing just a little bit here for ODDIK getting caught in the sandbags there and not getting out of the monster tunnel wide enough to make Klim truly feel uncomfortable. And that essentially cost them, because I mean, the window to kill this guy will always be very small, and they've just gotta pounce when that opportunity comes to them. Aite goes down here to start things out, and MIBR slowly start to build back into this game.
Yeah, and even around like that too. I mean, ODDIK, it just kind of puts them in the back here for the guns as well. You have Caselox that's kind of sitting here with the AK, and that's the hero AK. Now Insani getting tested, and he's actually going to pull on back. Molly going to get thrown. He's getting a lot of damage against him. He's doing everything in his power to push this back. Bomb's going to go down. Molly thrown a little bit late here from the CT side. And Insani now does get himself a little bit more of redemption on it, but it's only the one and done kill. Back to the 3-3. The AK's still in the hands here for the T's, but that flash, it's beautiful. It works, and it's actually a team kill. That's not good here from Caselox. I was talking about the AK needed to do something big, but no! It's really just backfired against them now. And now Woody has to do something magical, and it's a nice little bit of a double kill. But it's not going to be enough. A kit picked up, and the defuse will come through.
Oh my goodness, the fadeaway there from Woody made me believe if he just got around that corner, maybe it's a different story, but the captain with a big two-piece there to keep them alive here. 4-3 in the lead, and op retain for Klim, so the danger for MIBR continues to be there. That was the all-in approach from ODDIK. They utilized a lot of money and time into that now they're back on the pistols, and you don't want this to be one of the rounds where you give up again, where you give them too much respect and you give them too much room. So let's have the proper protocols in place. Maybe just a B pop here for ODDIK is a name in the game, and Breno and Venom Zero will have to do a lot of heavy lifting, and instantly Venom Zero has found some damage.
Yeah, all players committed to this here from ODDIK. Ooh, good little bit of a fault flush here from Nardez. That actually allows them a little bit of an opening, but look at that, and Sonny right back in for the triple kill. It's a quick, easy one. Make that a quad, why not? But I liked what ODDIK did, again, just with the limited resources and what you had available. Nice little bit of a pop flash, just try to get that short water control as much as possible, but it was a strong position from Sonny. Just door open already. He was ready for it. Now puts him at a 5-3. This has been a very back and forth game. I mean, the scoreline definitely doesn't seem to really paint the full picture. It feels like ODDIK have put themselves in a lot of positives in some situations, but now it's MIBR finally kind of getting warmed up, I feel like now.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's off the back of Klim's op, so see how we can produce even more impact now. Playing on B initially, the 4B start, a lot of utility being tossed back and forth, and Naite just going through. He wants to charge in and fight fire with fire, immediately eviscerates Klim out of the round, but Breno's there for the quick trade. But the offensive continues here, lads. They're still wanting to charge into this B bomb site with how much space they've been given.
Yeah, I like the change. I like that they're trying to just, again, mix things up a little bit. Catch these guys off guard, but look at MIBR. They're fully ready for this, and everybody's here for the party. And now it's just about ODDIK. The smoke just blocking the right-hand side with a ton of time still remaining. Triple flashes remaining here for the T side, and Venom Zera gets aggressive onto the barrel, but it's only a one-and-done kill. And now even Deo Zero's been able to find himself this double kill, so now all of a sudden, once again, an equal footing of a 2-2 with 50 seconds remaining on the clock. LNZ just spots the head of Dio, and now it leaves it all just down to case locks. He has the option to pick up this bomb and kind of retreat and, you know, recollect his thoughts if he wants. But he's going to just sit back, wait things out. He's hoping that somebody's going to go for an information, little bit of a peek, so he can get this one-on-one duel. But I like that MIBR. They're kind of posting things up. They're playing together. They have the high, they have the low position. With 20 now seconds remaining, Case Locks has to make a move. He spots the one. Now they know the jig is up, and he should be a dead man. And MIBR will get the 6.
Yeah, and this is a great indication of the depth of this roster when Klim is not able to fire on all cylinders. You know, you've got Venom Zera and Breno as two stalwart defensive players that can play aggressive if given setup. And they do well to turn attention every which way and stall out ODDIK after Naite can't get the space he was looking for. ODDIK now will take a timeout and discuss what's going on, because a lot of the excitement in the start from this team has completely fizzled out. A chance now for MIBR to really run up the table here and put the weird nature and the start of this game to bed, essentially.
Yeah, it's really been a bit back and forth, but you know, I feel like, you know, ODDIK, again, like the 3 rounds, it's not the full, like I said, the full picture of this. They've done a decent job being able to put a good fight, but now it feels like MIBR are kind of getting into that fighting form like we were talking about, right? Like they've really been on a bit of a tear. They've been grinding as a group. And now ODDIK are just going to try to get a little bit more aggressive here through Fountain, and they're going to try to get this connector control, what they have achieved. The CT side here of MIBR not really entertaining it, but they've actually decided to double up onto long. So they're going to vacate here the short, which allows the T's to get through onto Washroom, but it looks like Klim and also Insani are going to pull back on this now. They've had second thoughts about it. Klim just posted up here with the op Insani. Can he be able to find it? But no, he gets a little bit of 1-on-1 each. Not bad at all. And these pistols, this is a tough ask here, Paladin.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just no way to really scale unless you use some utility like this. This lurk smoke is nice for sure, but you're still gonna have to go through this setup, and you've even got a third rotation in LNZ to get here. So the adaptations are well and truly on for MIBR and ODDIK. You don't even have really the long range weaponry beyond this Deagle on Naite, hoping that maybe he can find some impact. But smoke up front Bath. Now your job for the Deagle gets even more difficult. And at this point, you're just hoping that they walk into your crosshairs, and that's just not gonna happen. Near lineup there for Insani, and he spots out the second player. And now can just sit trained on the angle. Flash is there, but not very good. And now he gets actually run down to 4 HP, but Naite goes down, and so will Woody. 7 for MIBR.
Yeah, and Insani's really, again, like putting himself in a good scoreline for himself, right? The 12-4 I was talking about, you know, in the pre-show, just like there's a lot of expectations I feel like I have for a player like this, where he has proven to do really, really well at, you know, the international level, and just seeing him like playing the way he is and just finding some really big impactful kills is a great thing to see, because I felt like there was this weird dip he had for a little while where he wasn't really showcasing what he could bring to the table. But this is a good little bit of a revive that we're seeing in the early part of 2026. He's definitely been able to make some really good impact with the opening duels and mixing things up. We'll see if they can maintain that pace. But a 7-3 so far here for the first half is looking really more of a confident scoreline here for MIBR, and kind of, I think, the way that a lot of people would most likely expect this game to go. But now the guns are out. We'll see.
A little bit faster again here from Nardes. Guy that has been donning this AWP and hoping to get active, but has been punished pretty much on every route. And we'll break down that role change a lot more, because I was completely surprised that this change has come through. And the woes are going to continue for Nardes as he gets destroyed by Venom Zero, but the trades from Dio Zero is even better. LNZ here to try and rectify things, pulls one back, and still has Naite low.
Oh, but look at Insani though, right? I mean, like, both of them are kind of posted up in the back, and Klim actually does get the long range kill. I don't know if they actually were able to spot that Insani was there with him, so they know that one player is on the flank at least. But you can see that Woody and his teammate Case Locks are now just going to be in pit. So they have multiple different angles that they have to clear in this kind of a situation, which is going to make it hard. And Insani should be able to find the timing of this, but Woody just can't seem to land the shot with the AK. And now Case Locks. A lot at stake. The flash just lands right in front of him. He's blind as a bat. And MIBR with a really beautiful retake find themselves an 8th round as we get into the last portion here of the first half.
Yeah, I mean, you look to Nardes to open things up, and sure, Dio Zero can pull things back, but post plant feels lifeless. They're not able to really get too much space anywhere on the map. You're not deep graffiti. You don't really have short space either, because you're getting wrapped from Khan. And then you have a deep long or a deep monster player coming up behind you as well. So basically everywhere you look, there's an MIBR player right around the corner. And if you're ODDIK, you really just have no choice but to suffer the consequences. It doesn't help that individually beyond Dio Zera, the Rifle Corps hasn't stepped up in the fashion that you were hoping it to be. Right now, it's basically every MIBR player stepping up to get you a multi, that you can't really talk about a competitive scoreline whatsoever.
Yeah, I felt like it was so decent before, and now it just really seems like MIBR really started to tail away from this, right? It felt like it was back and forth, things were looking good, but now it's just looking way better now from MIBR. And Sonny does find himself, again, an opener, which he's been just so prevalent with. He's been able to get another one, too. I was thinking maybe not this time, but he finally gets put down. Nardes will find him with a blind kill, but look at Klim. He's already close. He's got the noise cue. He's going to have an easy backstab. Is he actually going to... Oh, okay, I was like, is he going to...
He was thinking about it.
I was like, is he thinking about it?
But there's a real chance where he could spin around to check back and go back to his team. So, takes the easy shot. But now here's the easy lineup for Breno, and he'll lock it in. 9th round secured for MIBR with a dominating CT side. But we'll throw it to a little bit of a break, and when we come back, that second half.
right, welcome back. And a short little break as we just finished the first half of map number 1. And so far what we've seen is that MIBR, they've been on a little bit of a hot streak, and they're continuing that hot streak here at Paladin because it felt like maybe it was going to be competitive in the beginning, but it feels like ODDIK have slowed down. I mean, so far it's been a pretty impressive run to see MIBR, but now they get to be on the offense, which will be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for ODDIK, they'll really want to put that half behind them, not being able to capitalize on some of the issues that MIBR had in the defense, and gave enough time for those individuals to come online. Klim, LNZ, Insani leading the way with double-digit kills in that first half. And now, ODDIK really have to dig their heels deep and see if they can pull this one back. 5 players out in through mid. Might just be a long walk through. They've got a long-range P250 on Klim, so chance for these duels to be taken. Woody playing pretty far back, though, giving a lot of space and room over to this T side.
Yeah, I always get a little nervous with plays like this, right? Because, I mean, that P250 is going to be really critical on this, right? Just because of the range, the USPs that you have to worry about. But, I mean, if they find this kill, it doesn't mean they necessarily have to commit to it, but a smoke going to get thrown. It goes into the front of the site. Good HE. That's going to do some serious damage. Oh, man. So this allows them to cross into the site not too badly, but they still have to worry about these CTs close on by. And look at that, the dualies. Woody now. This cowboy is going to be able to get multi-kills, and that's actually going to be the ace here for Case Locks. Just kidding, but not bad here from ODDIK.
Yeah, one nicely placed flashbang, a nicely placed grenade, and let Case Locks go to town. Gets a full buy in the second round in this half, but what a play out from him. Just so much space for him to play around with this, and nothing from this T side. We're back in business for ODDIK. They'll get themselves a 5th round for free, and now you gotta look towards MIBR and say, how do you respond? Because all of a sudden you kind of put a little bit more pressure on LNZ to call up something spicy.
I feel like lately too, like I haven't really seen like a lot of like sick dually rounds. I feel like I never get to see them anymore. Like you get like maybe
It's like
these
just
like
one kill.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's about it.
Yeah, but that was actually kind of sick. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Ooh, Woody. Yeah, that's a nice little bit of a cleanup. It's not bad. One kill, 1.5 here from MIBR. Nothing invested, so it's all good. Not breaking a sweat. So now this is when it's gonna matter the most. And now it's game time.
Game time indeed, Laz. Now's the opportunity for ODDIK to potentially run up the table, and we'll figure out how much potential that might be the case in this round here. ODDIK will not have the AWP for Nardes. Instead, he'll play the bonus out. And same goes for Klim out on the other end. He'll use to take some con space, and they'll take short as well. So nice little early round win here for MIBR.
Some deep smokes here thrown from the CT side, so another one's going to get thrown as well. And a monster, so this is just going to push back these T's here. But the short control is really nice though, right? Because again, it's decent enough for them to go for the pop if they wish to, but you still have 3 players here from the CT side. You have Woody that's just kind of posted behind pillar. And with that kill is actually going to push back MIBR, so they're going to have to second guess what they want to do. Double smokes remaining here for the utility. So they don't really have any flashes to really get themselves some space in the site. It's really just going to be the smokes to block it, and then just hoping for the big entry from someone.
I think it's dinked up off the side of the wall, and he'll have a teammate to help back him up, but they're hoping for the reswing to come through. Flash is there, and now they've got to capitalize on the reload. Nite will go down, and LNZ has found a double entry. Klim not far behind him. Suddenly we're in a 2-on-2, but there's still the second player on the site, or third player, I should say, and he just gets ripped apart. And Sani finds his man, and sure, you've got a DO0 flank, but he's been found out straight away. So a 2-on-1 that's going to be really tough for the youngster to piece together, but he finds an isolated duel. And now he just got to find Insani, but the high angle is just too hard to flick back over to. And they can't convert the bonus there, ODDIK. They got to give up 10.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm not mistaken too, because like again, I think from ODDIK, like there was a flash that was getting thrown for Monster, but I'm pretty sure it like bounced off the wrong part of the wall because it actually blinded the teammate, which allowed that opening for MIBR to actually kind of commit to the swing, right? So really unfortunate.
And then the reload is also happening, and it's just like nightmare fuel.
A double
on
whammy.
Both ends. Yeah.
It's just a feel bad moment, right? I mean, that was a thing we saw yesterday where, you know, somebody popped open the smoke that they shouldn't have and allowed the other team to get a big kill through it. It's just, yeah, just those like little technical mistakes that can create such an opening. We just saw it here and now. A little bit of an attempt swing from Case Locks, but actually just gets eradicated from LNZ. He's able to back up his teammate Venom Zero. Takes a lot of damage, but he keeps his life intact. But a 4-4 with a wounded Venom. And a double player here from the CT side. They're actually pushed up a little bit more aggressively onto Washroom. So now Nardez, he's going to try to see if he can find the op. Actually misses it. He's been very quiet on this gun.
Scope back over for Nardez. This time he doesn't miss. Huge kill onto his counterpart in Klim. And A space has quickly been taken away by ODDIK. Nice plays out from both Diozera and Nardez. The new blood of this ODDIK roster. And they'll try to fill that void, Venom Zera in LNZ. Looking to punish back on 2-on-4. Really hard to lose this one, you'd think. Nardez goes down with nothing. Rotation coming in. But both players spotted at this point. They should know what's coming, and Venom Zera on low HP. Not really long for this world. And ODDIK rectifies some of the issues that they had in the round previous.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping to find a little bit more, you know, out of Nardez as well. Like, truthfully, like if, you know, just seeing what he can bring with the op. Like, I feel like the first half is a very rough going for him. Like, we didn't really get to see him playing his role. We didn't really get to see, I forget what his scoreline was, but it really was quite low. But now being on the CT side, maybe it can be a little bit of a different color for him, but so far it was not too bad considering what they had to work with in the previous. A little bit of a pop flash coming through. They're just going to run on in, and Woody maybe on the brink of an ace. Go hunt now, Woody. Go for the feed. Not going to happen, but you know what? Nice little 4K, nice little highlight reel, and ODDIK will continue on with another round and keeping all 5 players alive, which is definitely going to add nicely here for that money.
Absolutely. And now got a chance to pull this one back. Still 3 rounds the difference, and MIBR certainly having to do this one the hard way. But for right now, be happy that they just got a bye in this one. Ooh, aggressive piece here from Nardez, and I do like that he still has the confidence. You know, front bathrooms play, party play. He's still showing that forward-facing technique, but now it's all about connecting the shots.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, I think, you know, with considering the first half and, you know, how much he was just getting pushed back a lot, it's nice to see that he has this confidence. He's trying to go for it. A surprisingly missed shot. I'm actually, did he actually catch Insani in the leg or something?
I think he did.
Okay, because it felt like dead to rights there. Klim, okay. Actually, a nice little bit of a push onto Diozera, but a weird positioning that we're seeing from both these different teams now, but 1 HP remaining for Insani. He's just skin of his teeth to survive in this round. Surely he's got to be the first person to entry with a trade right behind him. Nope, he's just going to swing this by himself. An easy kill for Woody. I feel like that's a little bit of a misplay here from MIBR.
Yeah, but they might be able to catch players on the fall back. Nardez has spotted him, and great little pre-fire there to take down a captain. Now another 2-on-4 as they try to slink up into A, and Woody's there on the rotation as well. So this A defense has looked absolutely stalwart. ODDIK will try to hold on here, and they will. Sure, some dinks are taken, but Woody's clawed back after a tough half. 17 kills now, top of the table, leading by example here on the rifle.
Yeah, that's definitely a great point, because I feel like, you know, someone like Nate is definitely kind of thinking he could be able to, you know, pull up some big strings here too, but he's had himself a little bit of a tough game. But Woody's really stepped things up. Like you said, the CT side has been more of a blossom for him to play a lot better. Back to pistols, here we go for MIBR. And this lead that they had is now starting to dwindle just a little bit more. The T side is showing quite a few gaps in their gameplay, but the CT side from ODDIK is definitely a sight to behold right now. Like you said, it's looking very stellar. And they've done such a great job just locking down A, and keeping a lot of players alive in all these rounds, like I said, really makes like such a big difference in the CT economy. Like, I can never stress that enough. CT side, when you just lose rounds or, you know, survive with only one player, it just makes things so problematic. But they've done a good job just to keep everything afloat.
Yeah, at this point, I don't even just have enough money to just like run out the game, regardless of how it goes. If it goes to round 24, lost bonus would have built up by then, and you should still be fine. So a lot of the work that they've done is great for their future selves. A lot of space given over, though, by ODDIK. Short control established, and a chance to burst through if some flashes are well placed here and case locks can't take advantage.
Little nades to clear things out. Woody gets flashed, and that molly I thought was maybe going to catch him, but both his teammates got his back. And yeah, again, just losing only one player. That nice, again, really good crossfire, just being able to react to that situation. Now this is a big test, and a timeout's actually going to get called here, I believe, from MIBR, so rightfully so. And now they got the guns, they can kind of figure out, okay, what do we want to actually do a little bit differently? They must be noticing that it really is just the 3-2 setup that we're typically seeing on the CT side. You have the 3 at B, just double A. Yeah, very standard setup, nothing really, you know, too adventurous, but they really need to figure out, you know, what do they want to achieve in this? Like, do they want to try to fake in towards B and go A, or do they actually, like, is there a particular, like, player they want to look out for? I feel like nobody on ODDIK is really, like, the anchor at this point. It feels like everyone's starting to really pick up when they need to.
Yeah, I mean, the A defense is Nardes and Diozera, but you're not exactly, like, looking at Nardes and saying, yeah, we're going to target him. He's done his job to hold up on that side of the map, and on this other end, this B bomb side, they're playing off of each other very well. There haven't been enough B plays, I would say, like proper B plays. It does feel like, you know, they're trying to split in the late round, but they're doing it on pistols. Haven't really done it with the rifles yet. And that's just because they've not been able to get a player notched off this B bomb site, and they've not been able to reclaim short control in the mid to late round. So weird situation here for MIBR, and now they're gonna come up through divider as ODDIK just had to go pushing through long.
Yeah, I like this though. Like, Dio's just actually hoping to find an opening duel, and he does. So actually, he's given himself a little bit of time to pull back, but Nardes is there to slowly help him and get a little bit of a revenge kill here. But Dio could have potentially even played that tree and just, you know, bide a little bit more time, and instead he thought he could win the duel. Venom now just goes for a crazy swing, so he tried to commit to something, but now LNZ and Branson now by themselves. The op's been spotted, but again, both these players are split apart from each other. This is not an easy feat, and look at that. Nardes gets a nice little bit of a quick flick. We'll go down. Three players still alive onto this, and no way they're going to surely swing this one by one. That is a little sloppy, but it will still pan out here for ODDIK.
Yeah, 10 rounds is 10 rounds, and ODDIK do not look like they're stopping anytime soon. This is one of those games that MIBR will very quickly want to forget if this is the quality of T side that they're able to produce right now. They're just not able to manufacture any sort of opening kills to make these rounds contestable on the bomb sites. And the utility isn't strong enough to push these site players back up. So they're able to fight forward and get openings as quickly as possible. And now, to make matters worse, you've lost fountain control, but you are fighting this kill on the case locks, and that makes Diozera and Nardes' lives on A little bit more difficult.
Ooh, Dio, that timing. This is so weird. Like, again, like 2 kills that have been just given up here for the CT side. Just a little bit of a miscommunication potentially. But even just like you said, that one player playing in connector just giving up the gun. So MIB are a little bit of a lifeline in the sense of, you know, grabbing 2 rifles in this situation. Now they have themselves the man up on it. Yeah, Klim's low. He's got 9 HP. Let's not forget that, obviously. But they still have some utility they can work with. Like, they have Insani sitting here with the smoke and molly. Double flashes available for Venom. So, I mean, they definitely have some utility for a pop. And Nate does get himself this kill. And Woody, thankfully, can just tuck himself in the corner. Now things are getting a little bit more problematic. Woody needs to find this kill, and indeed he does. It doesn't matter that he's blind. He's still going to. And ODDIK now on the brink of getting themselves in the lead position, potentially, unless we can see Brow's going to be able to come up big with 30 seconds remaining on the clock. The bomb is in the back here, so he has time to go for the plant. But what is Nardez going to do?
I mean, he's hoping that maybe because the bomb is planted or the bomb is dropped on short side that he would come back up to A, but he's not going to get a freebie this time around. And Brenna will fake plant a couple of times here and give a little bit of space back to Nardez, but still gets the bomb down nevertheless. Paranoid that it's going to be from the A bomb site, but it's up through short. Sound cue not given away, so Nardez can keep walking up with this 5-7. Matter of timing, and Brenna will claim his kill. He will not give the lead back over. He'll find an AWP for his teammate, and MIBR get themselves 11.
Man, oh man. And again, like we just see in the replay here, which I'm so glad we can get the recap of it, is that, you know, it felt like the player just playing in calm by themselves, especially when they probably should have known, like based on the economy, that they're going to be on, you know, half pistols or something like that. It felt a little bit risky for me because connector, it just, again, if you lose that player there, it gives up a lot of space, and then we saw that happen, and then Dio get caught, you know, with the timing off guard, and it kind of felt like he wasn't fully aware it could have been there. So that was 2 duels that went right away for MIBR, but, you know, nonetheless, ODDIK did a good job, you know, trying to rebound for, like, some of the chaos that happened through, but MIBR can maintain that lead now. But really, the question is, can they get enough to, you know, put themselves over the finish line? Let's not forget, this was the pick from ODDIK. They're the ones that were trying to, you know, be a little bit cheeky with an overpass pick. A little bit more slowed down here, too, from MIBR.
Mm-hmm. Insani peering in through banana, and we're curious to see how Klim is used in this situation. It's actually Nardez going aggressive, moving into the bathrooms completely alone, mind you. No support whatsoever, and he's gonna continue. This feels a little overzealous. He gives the sound cue away, and they catch him straight away. That is a huge mistake from Nardez, and now his long player's got to come back or at least stay alive. And Insani's aware that this second player has got to be around this corner, but Dio0 will live to tell the tale. 4-on-4 now, but this is one of those that MIBR have surely got to knock the other way.
Yeah, definitely. And now I love this double push into long, too. So again, a little bit of a 2v1 duel against Dio. Now Nate, and as well as Woody. I mean, this is really tough because they're so far away. I mean, they do have the kits, but they'd have to bank on getting these kills quickly, and then they can go for the attempt. But no, they have to save this. So MIB are going to be able to grab their 12th round here and putting themselves on the map point. But ODDIK, I mean, you mentioned it a little bit before. The money situation, you know, they were sitting pretty well with it, where they should be able to run pretty well to the end point of this game. And I think the money should be good enough for them to push this secondary round, or this following round, I should say. You got 7K onto Nardez, 5,800 for 59 for K-Slog. So the gun situation is still fine for the CT side, but now it's the do or die moment, right? They have to push this thing 2 in a row to pushing overtime.
Yeah, and I worry for them at this point when a situation like that happens. And I think that round is just outright lost by Nardez. I hate to point fingers, but if that position is going to happen, it needs to come through some support off the rifler in the back end. Like, the rifler's got to be watching the banana push up, and that's where the symbiosis of your A players comes through. And unfortunately, not on the same page there. And MIBR have so many experienced players that have played at the top level end of the game that they know that they've found a potential crack to potentially, you know, move through with. So now, yes, you've got to buy for ODDIK and likely another one if they can push it to round 24, but writing's on the wall right now. They're losing steam.
Look at Dio, man. He's already pushed all the way through. He's just gonna walk through this. Look at the risk and the reward out of this whole situation. Yeah, he gets the kill. That's crazy.
That's not the bomb. Bomb's on B.
Yeah, the bomb's towards B, so that's okay. Yeah, it's all good. Crisis averted. It's all good there, but Nardes does find himself that one kill, and all of a sudden now Dio, the player that was able to just push through mid by himself, is now required here for getting a 3K, putting himself in a quad for the official round. And all MIBR have to do is play the numbers, use the utility that they have available to just push back the CT, and it should be a given round. But a lot requested here of the new addition of ODDIK to see what he can bring to this. He's got the flash, he's got the smoke, he's going to try to swing into it. A missed shot here from Klim, a little uncharacteristic, but a perfect pop flash. Now Dio gets caught into the crosshairs, and MIBR, boy oh boy, they had to break a sweat for this one, Paladin, but at least they can get the job done with a 13-10 win on the map pick of ODDIK.
Yeah, I felt a little uncomfortable, and now they were approaching some of these rounds on the T side, but eventually it's the pistols that break open the game for MIBR, and a couple of costly mistakes from the New Bloods on ODDIK, and it kind of just comes apart at the seams. And unfortunately, lads, that feels like the last real chance for this ODDIK side to make a competitive series. We move now into Inferno, that I just feel so strongly in favor for MIBR when I look at the head-to-head and I look at the skill on this Inferno team, or this Inferno-sided team for MIBR as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But look, I mean, we know it's a 13-10, and we're going to take that little bit of a break as we get ready to go for map number 2 in Inferno, so we'll see you back in just a little bit.
Here we go.
Till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my till my feet become. Till my speaker come. I'll keep going till my speaker come.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a Benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of on my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brother since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on the better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.
This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like a takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the
Alright, welcome back everybody. We just concluded the first map and now we get to go on to Inferno as the second map to see if this thing can continue on to a 3-map series or if it could be done here for MIBR to close the deal with a 2-0, but we'll still have to find out. Myself, Laz, and Paladin to bring you through the secondary map here where again MIBR statistically have proven to be a bit of a hot one on it, whereas ODDIK, they got themselves not too many reps on it.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult map, I would say, to properly understand if you've just gotten into top-level Counter-Strike. If you're Diozera Nardes, it does seem like a deceptively simple idea, of a map, but there's a lot of moving parts, and especially on the CT side, you can get picked apart in this day's era, this day and age of Counter-Strike. And I really do think that players like Insani and Venom Zera could be very dangerous on this map if they're not careful. So for ODDIK, they've got a lot of work to do, and this job that they put up on Overpass was enough to kind of like turn my attention and pay attention to this squad, but it's not enough for me to look at this map and say maybe there's a chance of them coming back. This feels like an open and shut case.
Yeah, the one thing I was curious about from your perspective as well is, like, I mean, we know that for a team like ODDIK, like, they really don't have a lot of officials under this map, right? But the one thing that is a little bit particular, but I'll go into it in a sec, is like, we'll obviously talk about the MVP, which is for Insani, right? Like, I mean, I think that's a pretty obvious one in my opinion. Like, it felt like, again, I feel like a little bit of a broken record, but he was finding those initial duels, he was starting things out, he was really just kind of being bloodlust, right? The guy just kept kind of running around getting those initiation kills, which I think put them in a lot of 5v4 situations, which was really important. So it's great to see, like, 82 ADR, you know, 19-15, but I know it's not like a crazy, like, you know, KD ratio, but honestly, I felt like he was bringing a lot of impact in that first map.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think Insani and LNZ as well, with a lot of very impactful multis as well. So a lot of great work done by the MIBR core. And I guess the last thing that we can potentially talk about here, and most important thing, is that they have played on Inferno with both these lineups, and ODDIK did win the last time that they played. I won't necessarily say that it was the easiest time for MIBR, considering it was probably their first iteration, or their first debut with their iteration that they had recently. But ODDIK does have that to rely upon. But with the MIBR pick coming through on this map, it's a very decisive thing to say to this roster that, hey, we've fixed up everything we had, and we're gonna tell you that matchup was decidedly a fluke.
Yeah, exactly, because it kind of felt like, you know, even in that last series, like you're talking about too, is that Caselox, you know, we kind of both highlighted that he is a player on the ODDIK side that if he plays really well, like, it creates a lot of, you know, room for these guys to, you know, create these upset wins, or find these W's, and that's exactly what happened last time. Like, he was overall, like, sitting at a 1.63, like, he really did have a phenomenal game, and it felt like he was just putting himself in such strong positions on Inferno, and, you know, putting up a lot of really good overall stats, where it felt like on the MIBR side it wasn't quite the same. Like, it was definitely a lot more slow, and that's, like you said, talking about their debut as the group, which I think that's also important. So I am going to be curious about this rematch, you know, air quoting that, just to see what is really changed for MIBR, because we do know that, again, historically, they have been really on a bit of a tear on this map. With a 12-5 record is very impressive. Like, that one loss against ODDIK is kind of one thing, but then they've beaten, like, Gaming Gladiators, Sharks, 9Z, I mean, Red Canids they've had close encounters with. So again, like, these are still very impressive showings on a map like this.
Yeah, I mean, they're no slouches for sure. So I think the match is not over, of course, but as an analyst, when I decide to look at matchups like this, it's hard to have the conversation for a team that is horribly, like, discounted in terms of the matchup here. When they have to go back to a map that they caused an upset win on and do it again, that's when it really gets a little worrying for me. And I don't feel as though we've seen enough out of the exciting players like Caselox and Naite to really do that. And, you know, I like what I saw from Biozera. Nardes had some sparks towards the end of his CT campaign, but you gotta get the old guard of this team out to play. Like, Naite and Caselox really have to show up, where this one does feel like a non-starter.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it felt like in the beginning of the first map too, like, we were saying it was a lot back and forth, and ODDIK were playing a pretty decent game, and then it kind of slowed down where MIBR really were just kind of taking the reins of this. And that's what I'm kind of curious about on a map like Inferno, where, you know, the CT side, you know, again, when, like, you get pushed back and you're in these retake scenarios, like, this map is just ruthless for that, right? Like, I mean, that's where everybody kind of says it's like the save simulator. It's, it's not the most exciting map at times because it can just be so bearing on the CT side if you lose the site control. So I felt like ODDIK were impressive on the CT side of Overpass, so I'm kind of wondering if that can transition over to a map like this too, where like their defense is really more the comfort for them rather than the T side. So we'll have to wait and see. I think for me, like, that's where I'm questioning this too, because MIBR had an okay start for themselves, but it did feel a little bit bumpy. But then as soon as the rounds started kind of coming through, that's when the motor really did start running a lot better.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, the litmus test is really just what can Nardes do out the gates, because you need to have a stable CT op presence if you want to really sustain some of these sides, like holding on to brackets for as long as possible, holding on to Age in general, like making sure that the rotation is swift, and is he mobile enough to feel like he can call his own shots and make the CT side look dynamic, or is he going to stay static? And we kind of saw the signs of him calling his own shots on Overpass regardless of his scoreline, and it netted him a lot of ways back into the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Nardes handles this situation. But yeah, for MIBR, I think on the other end, it's just cohesion and making sure that you don't prioritize firepower necessarily, and that there is structure beyond that, and make sure that the proper protocols are in place in terms of spacing, in terms of trading players out. That's not something that they really had to worry about on Overpass, because considering how big of a map it is. On Inferno, it's a lot tighter, there's a lot more sharper corridors, and you're gonna have to really be on your A game in terms of those fundamentals.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where I think a lot of viewers, they always kind of, again, like they get a little bit irritated about this map, but there's so much technicality to it, right? Like, I mean, some maps we always talk about in the pool can be a lot more open and a little bit more forgiving in like retake scenarios, or kind of refighting for site control, where a map like Inferno is, I feel like it's probably one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult map to be on a CT when you're retaking, because you have so many different angles you have to clear. It's not the easiest, situation, and there's like just so many different angles that are against you in those situations too, right? So it's really funny how it turns pretty quickly once the T's get that site control, whereas other maps, it can be a little bit more forgiving in some regard. But like you said, I do agree with you in the retrospective that Nardes has to really show up a bit more here, because a map like this, when you notice your opper is missing, especially on the CT side, that definitely is something you will notice, right? So I think for MIBR, I am wondering if their game plan could focus on that, maybe trying to abuse that to see, okay, is Nardes really going to be playing relatively decent, or can we take advantage of him kind of having a bit of a slight off day? I really don't feel like we're still seeing the same Nardes we normally do. So that's what I'm going to be also curious about from the MIBR side.
Just making sure that we can get everybody in the server straight away. A couple of issues in regard to getting that final player in the server, but we'll be there pretty shortly.
It's always that one guy, It's the one guy that's just hanging out, waiting things through, or there's some kind of issue. No, I'm just kidding, but it's always just, we're almost there, I think. We're just getting a little word from production.
We'll cut to a little bit of a break now while we figure out these technical difficulties, and when we be back, we'll start map 2.
This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. Y'all just the way you like it. Just the way you like it.
Okay, well, you know what? We definitely promised you a short break, and we delivered on the short break. So thankfully, the player issue is good. We're ready to go. Second map of Inferno, which is the pick here for MIBR. And let's see what they can roll out here, because, like we said, last time these two teams played against each other, ODDIK actually were the ones that were able to prevail.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to replicate it again. MIBR finding enough hot form to close out Overpass, and now they'll be able to set the tempo here on this T side. Inferno underway here. Instant B stack from the CT side here initially. Nade, smoke flash for Woody to see if he can bluff his way into that side of the map, but the real hit's coming in onto A, where Venom Zera will lead the pack. They'll go targeting this cubby play straight away, and it's a nice crossfire between these two, so this could be a bit of a meat grinder.
Oh man, look at these USPs. Oh man, it's a little bit more labored on this one. Okay, ooh, okay, hang on a second. I was thinking, okay, the CT surely we're going to have this, you know, as a guarantee, but now double player into Arch, and nice kill, jumping shot here from Brazen, and now just leaves Nate by himself. That bomb does not need to commit through Arch, and they realize this now. They're like, you know what, let's just go for the plant. His teammate of Insani can be able to pull back on this, but again, he's kind of expecting a banana swing. I think his timing's going to be just a little bit off, but a perfectly smoke placed, and Nate actually just abuses it. Can't land the shot, and Brazen comes up massive with the 4K and really just saves the day here for MIBR.
Yeah, he saves the round off just the Arch kills. I mean, those trades go horribly for MIBR, and if he doesn't get those 2 kills, it's round done. And it's not even like, oh, you know, if he gets 1, it's enough, but he needed every single bullet to land, and it did. And that jumping headshot trade was also just so important. Pure impact out of Breno, a guy who has been underlooked on this roster, but is still a fantastic player in his own regard, and you can still just see his mechanical effort on display. Caselock's now getting aggressive here in middle and has not been punished for as long as he's been around, and honestly he's been trying to goad players into his position. He'll continue to re-aggress, keep fighting as much as possible, but eventually they give it up, and MIBR will turn to banana control.
Yeah, smoke going to be placed in a good amount of time here for the CT side, and that's just Nate once again just solo anchoring into B, and now his teammates are actually making a bit of a hightail into this, right? Double players are rotating over to the B side, so MIBR have actually, you know, thrown a little bit of a fake very nicely, because now you only have the 2 players from the CT side, both sides on bracket. And it's a question if they want to, again, abuse the smoke or wait things out. They still got 50 seconds. Now they'll rotate once again from Woody. He's going to go join back onto A. Acelock's going to get blocked. Actually going to walk this? There's no way. Surely not. Okay, he does try, surprisingly. And now all the SMGs. It's a bit more of a challenge on this one. The double nades go through sight. Just dunks onto the CTs, and there we go. An easy massacre. And now the CT's going to have to just save these pistols and the armor invested. And MIBR, they got themselves a guaranteed second.
Yeah, well done there to suggest the B play, or at least cause that third rotation to come through, and then eventually Caselock's hyper aggression was going to be punished. It was kind of crazy to me that he was able to get away with that for as long as he did, but credit to MIBR for not pushing the issue for a situation like that. Too many times I've seen where, you know, you get red-eyed and you say, I'm just going to go full speed ahead and try to take out this scout close range. But no, they let the play come to them, and they get that wide open A bomb site.
Yeah, I was kind of a little, like, personally, I was a little surprised that Caselock's with a scout was trying to, you know, really just kind of creep through the smoke. Like, I feel like if it was any other gun, like a 5.7 or an SMG, like MP9, whatever you have, like, I feel like it could have been way more probable. I just feel like with a scout in that kind of a, you know, tight situation like that, like, you're really hoping for a big shot, right? Like, it just felt like it was a big gamble that just felt like the risk really wasn't worth the reward.
Right. And now you've given Nardes back the scout and hoping that he can do some damage on that gun. But now, yeah, and Nardes still nails the shot. I mean, huge kill on the Klim, who's had a rough go of things to start out this game, but scout find.
Inky going to be picked up again, so I like that MIBR still have the double, well, they were going to rock the double SMGs on with the MAC-10 and MP7, but so they're going to keep the Galil. Probably more of a safer choice. So smoke for coughing going to get thrown CT at the same time. He's going to get blocked nicely here from Case Locks. I might give him just a slight edge here if this is going to be a commitment from MIBR. Flash is thrown. They know that there's a couple 5.7s close into this. Do they still want to decide to go for it? Yes, they will. They're going to pop open the smoke nicely. And look at that from Raza once again. A nice double entry. And now they just eradicate everybody in their path. They're going to get this bomb down. Scout's still going to be in the hands of Nardes. But again, this might just be worth just trying to save this gun and keep that Deagle maybe afloat. Maybe try to find a gun if possible. But MIBR surely must have this one in the bag.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the layering of that banana take was so magnificent. It's the flashes to feign some close range duels, and then nading open the smoke again after, and then throwing another volley of flashes to really blind up these players on CT. Exits on the cards here for Diozera. He actually, I think, collateral 2 players there.
I think so.
Venom Zera should be able to live. Yeah, on 1 HP. That's nice.
That is nice.
It feels like MIBR has gotten away with like so many 1 HP plays in this series that I would just be agonized if I'm ODDIK and I go back and demo review this game.
Yeah, exactly. Like once they go back and watch the demo of the VOD and they're just like, are you serious? Like we were that close so many different times. And
they're like important kills, mind you. Like they're like the difference between rounds won and lost in some situations. Obviously not in this case, but I think about that Breno 4K, and he ends that round with 1 HP as well. So.
Yeah, that's right. Lots of nades, high aggression, high octane here from MIBR, just kind of stepping things up. Oh, a little bit of a miss jump here from Insani. Can't really just kind of go for a little bit of a jump in a gunfight like that, but at least it's a pickup back here from LNZ, and now slowing things down. They've actually been able to win this engagement, so they got themselves a 4-on-3. The CTs have now lost 2. You have Case Locks that are still here for the fight. But now it's a 1-2 setup from the CT side. So this is a really good position right now for MIBR. They really have themselves a lot of options that they can work with. Tons of utility if they want to go for the full exec onto this. And this is a little bit of a coin toss in some regard, right? Because there could be the double B setup. Probably unlikely, but they're going to bank on the fact that there's maybe only one player here. Case Locks is now getting required for a big test. He does get himself the 1. Actually makes it a double. So that big swing does pan out nicely. But is that going to be enough? It's a 2-2. And I feel like ODDIK, they got to at least attempt this.
Yeah, absolutely. A double banana flank coming through. Klim on this low HP has got to do some heavy lifting before he goes down.
He's got a molly.
Trying to play an off angle here. He'll play into the op, and he finds the man. Molotov here to play close range, but he'll be caught out from Diozera. Molotov into the coffins, nade up into emo. He's got to just hope and pray that there's nobody E-box, but
no kit.
Or new box rather. But unfortunately, there absolutely was, and Venom Zera will knock it down, and MIBR will continue their winning ways here on this T side. Looking good.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit surprised too from Dio. Like, just it seemed like he was hyper focused on the coffin play. Like he didn't even look like he was expecting anybody to be new box. Like you really did have his sights.
You have to play the 50-50, right?
That's
true. Just kind of how it is.
I guess so. Yeah, he really. I guess it is a bit of a coin toss. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, but big work from Case Locks though. I mean, again, like that is a really tough position to be in. Like the fact that he was even able to find the double kill like that. That really did create that 1-on-1 situation that panned out almost here for ODDIK. And again, some of these rounds are getting a lot closer than, it looks like. If, you're just watching this, you're seeing a 4-0, you're like, oh, MIBR are just kind of running away with this. It's like, it's not necessarily the case. MIBR have been able to get the round, sure, but it has been quite a daunting task to get there. And the money just is abysmal right now for ODDIK. Again, they have to work with Deagles and MP9. It just feels like they haven't really been able to have a lot of gun rounds in their favor. Case Locks tries to do something a little bit cheeky, but gets punished immediately for it. And oh man, these AKs are making all the connections in the world.
Just no respect on that bottom mid smoke whatsoever. And they just wanted to use that to toss nades down mid. And sure, it did plenty of damage, but it means nothing when you get 2 entries off of just pushing that smoke. Now, car smoke's fading here for ODDIK, and now Banana will be lost. Naite will try to puff up his chest with all the utility that he has, but this is going to be a real tall order.
Look at all the utility though, Paladin. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, MIBR have so much that they can just rain nades onto this, and Naite, like, the chance of him, even again with the gun he has, not the greatest. And yeah, that's it. It's an easy round. MIBR again, all 5 players alive. They should have this easily for a 5th. And now it's really about ODDIK. You know, there's not really any guns they can fish for because all 5 players are alive. They just have to keep what they have. And that's what both of us were kind of talking about, you know, Inferno and the difficulties of it. And we're seeing it here right now on the CT side. MIBR, perfect game plan. It's working out. They're going for these good executes, and as soon as they get that site control, ODDIK have been put in so many different positions that they just have to save what they have. They can't. They've only really attempted what, maybe once, twice.
Yeah, that 2-on-2 really. That's pretty much it. And Diozera will not get anything in this round. Huge kill there for LNZ. And Woody, he'll be happy to save the armor and some of the nades, but that's really it. I'd like to see like a double op setup at some point from ODDIK. I mean, it's definitely possible with this lineup, and I'm surprised we didn't see any of that on Overpass. You know, we're probably not going to see it on this map if we didn't get it on Overpass, but it's something to consider. I mean, I don't think MIBR is playing the highest pace of Counter-Strike that you could use the double ops, but right now there needs to be some sort of complexity to the CT side because it's everything is being read like a book by LNZ at this point.
Yeah, I agree. It would be nice to see a little bit of a mixture here from ODDIK, and I definitely think they have the roster to do the double op if they choose to. But MIBR are now right back to the banana take, and not a task here really difficult, but a good trade back from Woody regardless. But MIBR are really just, again, getting these duels across every part of the map. We see one at B, we see one that's going to be towards Boiler. And it keeps them on the guessing game. And this is a map, again, where the CT side, the positioning is so critical. And all 3 CTs are actually going to be grouped up towards bracket. And they're just essentially rolling the dice here. They're just going to try to gamble this with a triple player stack into A site. So again, it depends on what Brazen does here because he's by himself. And if he gets the inkling that 2 players are bracket, they know that they have themselves a pretty much a shoe-in for that B site. So this is a lot relying on him to get some information and investigate. That op is there. He's been spotted. His gun's there. There it is. I don't know if he knows there's 2. He's definitely spotted the op, obviously. But MIBR, they're not going to hesitate.
No, they're not. And they're going to completely blanket the B bomb site with utility. There shouldn't be any chance for a denial of the bomb plan now that they've crossed. And unfortunately, that nade is slightly too deep. Luckily, they've got another one to toss in and try again. But again, post plants have already been established at this point that ODDIK now are going to struggle in this one. 3 players coming in through the CT side. And now Woody, tasked with plenty of players on the other end, potentially gives up his head. He didn't capitalize just yet. He goes charging in and finds Venom, Zera, and Pool. But now it's Insani, and it's Klim. I mean, it's Klim just finding him through the smoke, mind you. So that's just about the worst way you could lose that 3-on-3.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? And I mean, it's good to see that, you know, ODDIK were attempting it at least, right? Because we were just, you know, making the comment about, look, like they're really just playing saves every single time because they have to. Like they've only been in one position really on that 2v2. Like you alluded to, the fact of like that's the only time we've really seen them go for a retake. This time we did see that attempt. It didn't work out for them. And that is going to essentially put them in a bit of a dire situation for this round number 7, where they're just going to have the Deagles, the 1M4 of Woody, What do they want to do a little bit differently? It looked like it was a triple player setup on the B side, but actually Caselocks is the one that's going to just retreat this. Good utility work from the CT side to catch Insani down to 42 immediately. And MIBR are getting a lot of control where they can kind of just go back and forth of what they want. They've been getting this banana control pretty much almost every single round, it feels like. Now they're going to fight back for this bracket control. And look at how fast the CTs just push back on it.
Yeah, I like the aggression into apartments. It catches Breno off guard and actually disassembles the game plan. It was initially a bracket stakes coming in from MIBR, but they pull away and they say, hey, we can retake car together and we can leave Klim on an island if we want to. He does well to pull one back. And I do just love these pauses that LNZ calls in this situation. It forces these pistols to look for information and causes this tough rotation from Woody back over to this A side. But now he's pulling back away, and this is exactly when MIBR want to strike. So LNZ reading the map very well, but still has to get through Diozera here with his AK.
Oh, and he's playing a nice little bit of an off angle, but now he has to reposition himself just a bit. Smoke gonna get thrown nicely, so that might give him a slight advantage. Oh no, he actually just runs right into his opponent's case locks! Oh, that'll do! A triple kill to just slow things down. The one-on-one with 10 seconds remaining. A plant has to come through. Nate might be able to have everything locked and loaded here. It's a little bit of a misclick. No, surely not. This is not the way you're gonna lose this round. Surely not. And oh god, Clem! How does he get away with it?
After Case Locks did that in front of you, that's what you produce on the MP9. Brutal loss to come from Naite, and I mean, that's just a summation of the series he's had. It's been disappointing to say the least. But holy moly, can we see that replay from Case Locks again? What an insane couple of shots on the back end there. Oh, just 20 HP separating themselves from getting their first on the board. And yeah, you got to take a tack timeout after that one because you got to calm him down, really. That's what it's got to be.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's no way about it. Like, I mean, it felt like Nate had that literally on a silver platter. Like, guys planting, he had a good position. All he had to do was go for a pretty, like, moderate swing with an MP9, and it should have been a done deal. But you saw that he kind of did that quick shot. It hit the corner of the pillar, and then it just felt like, oh, no, that reposition in the middle of the site and just kept getting worse and worse and worse. But those are the rounds where I don't care what level of Counter-Strike you play, those are tilting. Like, especially when you know you should have had it, your teammate pulls up, you know, something out of the hat with a triple kill. That is really going to hurt. But we'll see if they can bounce back from it. It's still a doable half where they could. And all it takes is one round to do something. But, man, oh man. What a chaotic round number 7, I should say.
Now it looks like they went up the tempo, taking brackets control as fast as possible. They've split the difference between these two players, and Insani's still into arches. They've still got another player in the apartments and a late player in middle. There's just T's all over the shop right now for MIBR, and ODDIK just have no idea where these guys have gone off to. Trying to spot them out, but knife out for LNZ, and Diozera capitalizes. Head still spotted though from Insani, and now we still pull it back, but bomb has been dropped on lane. And Woody has gotten here pretty quickly ahead of the Molotov, but Breno is just so aware. The presence of mind to know that Woody was that close. Bomb should be able to go down, but it's really up to Case Locks, that last bastion, walking up through the apartments, but Insani might be wrapping him as well.
Oh, this is huge. This is so big. Case Locks, why would he ever expect that?
Oh.
It was such a good position. I mean, that 2v2 was looking, you know, really a decent effort here, but now it's turned to the 1v1, so Nardes has actually been able to find himself the double. Back to a 1-on-1 we go. And now, oh, find a little bit of redemption, so ODDIK will be able to finally win the 1-on-1, getting themselves a first round, but man, was that a labored attempt to get there. But look, it doesn't matter. As long as they can get on the board, that's all that's going to matter at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we won't mention the fact that it's probably the worst case scenario in a one round where it comes down to a one-on-one, but again, you're just happy that you're not getting shut out completely. Up for Nardes, that was recovered as well. But MIBR Definitely wanted that one in their favor. That's when you can kind of throw chaos and just see what sticks. If you know the game is with you, then you get away with that. If not, then you can kind of slow the tempo down again. And that's kind of what they go to. They give banana control over. They should be aware that there's a potential 3-man setup. But that doesn't really speed things up on the A side whatsoever.
Yeah, they put a lot of good high pace onto this and tempo changes. Double player into arch side here from the CT. So again, a 4-1 split from ODDIK. Really gambling heavily on the A side. And now some banana control being grabbed up. A little bit of 1-on-1. You can see how fast that Nate is just kind of allowing that control to be grabbed up. Util already being spilled over. 50 seconds remaining, and MIBR, they're actually still going to commit to this.
Yeah, flashes come in through the apartments, pop, and it's a porch setup. This is the exact counter that you're kind of looking for here for both of these players, but they're still worried about pit side that they're not really dueling just yet. Finally, the flash comes through, but there's just not enough bodies for ODDIK to, or MIBR rather, to play around with there. And ODDIK get a second one, so finally chaining some rounds together here. And they're doing it with men alive, so maybe there is a way to salvage this half just yet.
I mean, possibly. That's what I mean. That was kind of what I was alluding to, right? Is the fact of just like it takes one round and then it just something changes, right? Like something in the air, and then you start to feel a little bit better that, you know, that goose egg's gone. And now we're talking it was a 7-0, 7-2 now. Guns are still back out for MIBR, fine. But now at least ODDIK can get a little bit of a sigh of relief, and now they're starting to get that confidence built up. Look at even Woody right now. He is just trucking through into banana. And they've been able to find 2 opening kills, which is something we haven't been able to see yet at all, right? I mean, this has been MIBR the whole time that have been really setting the pace, winning those opening duels, putting a lot of pressure into it. Now we're starting to see that CT side finally push back.
Absolutely. And now a chance to potentially get 4 on the board on the CT side, which would be immense. Of course, there's still some hurdles to overcome here. Don't want to lose Woody too quickly. Fallback from Nite has got to be immediate. And the rotation is also coming in. A second player also leaning this way. And I think MIBR realized that they've got a window here and they've got to strike immediately. Player will come through off of coffins, and Nite should still be good for 1. It should still be a CT round. The flash is fantastic, but Nite is a little bit better. Finally, something going his way. And Breno should not be able to win out this clutch. Sure, he finds 1, but he's never checking new box. And MIBR do give away that 3rd, and now facing an eco.
Yeah, it feels like for the first time ever, right? I mean, it's been just MIBR on the guns every single time, and finally they're on an eco. So this is where now ODDIK, you know, in a prime position that they could get themselves the 4th round. And then the question of maybe finishing off this half with a 7-5, maybe, considering that we saw MIBR. It felt like they were never going to slow down. It just felt like they were going to keep on moving and moving and just winning these fights. And now ODDIK have finally got, you know, kind of caught like a second wind into this, I guess, and have started to fight back a little bit. MIBR full aggression down alt middle. Now kind of just slowing things down a little bit more. Dio is going to be on towards Boiler. Now the swing comes through. Dio goes down quickly. Not a sight. I mean, okay, Case-Lox has to be careful here. Because now if he gets overwhelmed by the numbers, he's by himself. His teammates are starting to make the rotate. But that's going to be a bomb plant instantly. And the Case-Lox has now been able to redeem himself, finding the double. A 3-on-4 situation. That advantage here right now for ODDIK. But Nate's still in the back and mid here, and these guys are going to have to move quickly. Surely they're going to go for this. They must. There's still lots of time on the C4 timer. Woody, can he be able to find this kill? Oh, God! You're kidding! Oh, that is just gross. And now the CTs have to swing even a little bit more. And all of a sudden, it just leaves down to Klim. Time is getting a little bit low. I can't believe he's in this position! How does this happen?
Where was that opera looking? I mean, the shot was off. You know where he is. He's graveyard. And they never turn around. Oh, what a calamity there from ODDIK. I don't know how you lose that round. I mean, of course, you got to give credit to Insani and Klim for hitting some bangers, but I mean, he shot off 4 bullets. Somehow they just completely forget. Nardes is not even looking remotely in that direction. And MIBR get away with a doozy of a round.
It just feels like, it keeps getting worse and worse for ODDIK. Like, just kick him down. Put the dagger a little bit deeper, and MIBR now securing 8. We were just talking about, yeah, it should be a done deal. Like, it might be a 7-5 maybe. No, not the case at all. Something different than tea leaves today.
Ooh. Good nades on Banana there. Chunk down Woody to 8. And I don't know, I guess it's maybe a hunch for this MIBR squad, but they want to target this low HP. They have no way to actually confirm that HP damage was there. But they're exactly spot on right now. Sure, some of these clutches have gone the ODDIK way, but the reads right now from LNZ have been spectacular. Third rotation comes in, but they move back over. As soon as the smoke fades, it's a go.
Yeah, look at how fast they just, again, like you said, the smoke's gone, and they just pounce onto it right away. And Woody, not a hope in heck that he's going to be able to do anything in that kind of a situation, just getting roasted alive. Nate now trying to just go beast mode if he can. 2 teammates here on the back of Cathedral to see what they were going to be able to find. LNZ now going to try to just abuse that position here with the molly. The numbers are the advantage right now for ODDIK, so this is a prime position. LNZ needs to be able to find a big kill. He does only get the 1, so now Venom, he's got the high ground, but he needs to be able to find this 1 and then reposition himself. But look at that, Diozero will be able to put a full face of lead against Venom. That's going to be an 8-4 half in favor of MIBR.
Yeah, it's not what they wanted in terms of that round there, but very happy with how that half turned out if you're MIBR. We'll see if ODDIK can hold on to this series after the break. Wow. Got some nice...
All right, welcome back, everybody, and we're still on Inferno now for the second half, where we saw it was an 8-4 for MIBR, and it feels like a little bit of a horseshoe for these guys because they've just been able to get away with some crazy rounds. They've been able to put themselves at a 7-0 at one point. It was looking like a decent comeback, but MIBR, they were able to get themselves a pretty decent showing in the first half. And the question is, can they actually get it still the same pattern on the second half? And I don't know how you're feeling, Paolin, but I feel like ODDIK, they've had some pretty big shots here with only a few minutes to spare on that break.
Yeah, there was a real world where this game could have been far more lopsided than the scoreline you see at the top of your screens. Now, for Woody, you got to be thanking his lucky stars that this is the situation that they're in, and he's got to call them back into this game, somehow rally the troops and see what they can do on this T-pistol, because this game is definitely not out of the woodworks just yet, as you saw in Overpass, pulling it all the way to 13-10. But now, this is a tall task.
Yeah, a lot riding on the pistol. So much here for ODDIK, right? Like they desperately need this. I mean, this is where, you, again, with P250 in hand, you need Nardez to be able to do something big with it. Utility about to get thrown. Spotted here from LNZ. This is a triple player setup, though. This is a little bit scary. Good counter smoke thrown. Maybe a little bit too slow on it. Dualies from Insani. Needs to find something. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't. Who cares if you got dualies? You got LNZ just landing shots with the USP, and now ODDIK, they have to pull back on this and regroup for a new game plan.
Yeah, they got to hustle because the rotations are coming in from the CT side. You still got these two players in Klim and Breno. Nice crossfire on that site. And Woody's trying to see if he can potentially find a way back into the B bomb side instead, but you're running out of time. Eventually, you've got to hit the go button, and they're going to just try to pinch into this A bomb side. Klim's still the unnoted player in this entire setup, and he hasn't fired off a bullet. Finally, he does, and it's to the back of the head of Naite. And LNZ will come back through. A quad kill from him. This captain has been so impactful in this series.
Yeah.
And now put this team in pole position to close this series out.
Yeah, what a really good round from LNZ, just to be able to put a lot of work with the USP. I was thinking that dualies were going to do something. We were talking about the P250 here for ODDIK, but no, it's just LNZ, the captain. And like you said, what better way to just keep that momentum moving forward here. So MIBR get away with the pistol, which has been a really big saving grace for these guys. If ODDIK could have been able to find that, it could be an interesting conversation, making the scoreline a little bit closer. Good nade getting thrown here from the CT side. It's just chunky. And this could just be a massacre. Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Okay, hang on. This is a little bit weird. This is a little awkward. Ooh, LNZ. Oh, what? No. Oh, my goodness. Some style points, too. Woo-wee.
There's no need. There's just no need. And yet still, LNZ comes out with a couple of kills for himself as well. I like the little taps that he had with the end of the AONS mag as well. And honestly, pretty necessary kill in the grand scheme of things. There's a world where a bomb plan is given over and they don't get there in time, but it works out. MIBR get themselves double digits, and it's put up or shut up time now for ODDIK. Backs against the wall and have got to do it with these guns.
This triple player setup on the A bracket here from the CT side. So Dio's the one that's kind of lurking a little bit here for ODDIK, and a little bit of a high, a little bit of a low, and Insani, okay.
That's just a spam. That's just an outright spam through the banana smoke, and he's just found two out of thin air.
That's what I was saying, like, about ODDIK. I feel so bad. Like, it feels like it just gets worse and worse for them. Like, something has just changed in the water here, right? Like, it's just been bad luck all around. Oh,
At what point do you say the bad luck is just extremely well played Counter-Strike from MIBR?
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
It's like we've drawn enough of these plays together throughout this game that eventually you just got to say, hey, they're just the better team.
Yeah, that is true as well. I was kind of more thinking like just the rounds where we saw players with like low HP and putting themselves, still finding a kill here and there. And I mean, even that Deagle round we saw from Klim, like it's just something that shouldn't have happened. And yeah, some of these little bit of fumbles, but I do agree. Like MIBR is playing a very, very strong game right now. Like this is a vast improvement than what we saw in Overpass, but I feel like ODDIK were kind of given some situations that could have gone their way and just didn't, but boy, oh boy, that is a tough pill to swallow. Especially for Insani just getting a double spam kill like that on a gun round nonetheless. Like, that is just even beyond more tilting.
Well, they will save these guns on over because they kind of have no choice. But essentially, you're put up with the question, do you just keep buying here and hope that you can turn things around? Or do you save and just have like a weird buy in the next round if you lose this one too? Well, it seems to be the former. Nardez is all in, and so is Case Locks and Diozera. But these two rifles that were saved on over have to be the saviors of this team. Faster into Banana now, straight away, and Insani gets caught on the fadeaway. Nade looks good, but Insani's fallen all the way back to the B bomb site, so we'll be able to dodge death, but these B anchors have taken some significant damage to start things off.
Yeah, that is a good point, because again, like, it's not going to be as hard for them to potentially entry into this. Both these players are still playing very wide. Like, they're swinging kind of exposed on this. It's a little bit weird, but LNZ is going to need to throw that smoke very quickly.
They're going
Does
through.
land. Are they actually going to run through this? Okay, no.
I
thought
thinking,
they were.
But yeah, they pulled back instantaneously, and now I guess you have a possibility of wrapping and going back to A, especially considering how much space Diozera's found, and yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. But Diozera's going into CT spawn, so it looks like all all these ODDIK guys have no idea what they want to do, considering going back to A with the wrap, but now they're going to commit back to B, and this is where the 3-stack is available. Diozera is trying to catch a player on the fade of the smoke, and he will. That's a low HP Insani. They still don't know about the other two players. They're here. The team kill is there, but Venom Zero with 3 kills of his own makes this one still a doable 2-on-2.
Oh, this is weird. I mean, Venom Zero just, yeah, pops off with a triple kill. Like you said, it cost the life of one of his teammates, but this has kind of put them back in a situation where it's a 2-2. Double AK is available, and the HP is like halfway essentially for both these Ts, pretty much. You still got the HE and Flash available for Klim. Is he going to be able to clear this? He will not. So now it's all down to 1. Does have a kit. Does he actually want to go for this? Time is running low, so he's going to have to make a decision. Looks like he will pull back, and ODDIK. Ooh-wee, okay. They're going to be able to find themselves around. All down to Dio, I think, really just getting that space through Arch like you were talking about, and the fact that he was able to get that, you know, player that was on top of Oranges. Like, I felt like with a Mac 10 especially, I was thinking he was at a pretty big disadvantage with the range, but seemed to prove me wrong.
Yeah, lucky that Insani was the low HP player on first and not, you know, potentially a 100 HP player, because that's when things go wrong. Venom Zero really tried his hardest there to pull that one over the line, but MIBR still have a little bit to play out with, but it's one of those situations where even a 1 round feels like a lost one in some senses. When you look at the economy and the buy that they have to bring into the next, it's 2 Mac 10s and a Deagle. You only have 1 AK into this following round, but you still have to fight for your upper bracket life, essentially, with this buy. And Klim still has an AWP, Laz.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay. We got Clem an easy one. Did he spot the leg there? Sure.
I think he did.
Okay, now they're going to swing this. Oh, I was going to say, there's no way he gets away with that, right? Okay. Well, Alp's going to get picked up here for Nardez, but 2-on-4. And again, you have the 1 player into apartments. Nardez gets himself that 1. That's going to be fine. Take the sacrifice for Venom Zera. Case Lux now tries his darndest to be able to see what he can find. Has to fight for the bomb control. Ooh, that's going to be a good nade. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh no, these guys are going to pass each other.
What? Well, it doesn't matter, because both the rotations have come in. Case Locks has 1 HP, and Breno tosses in a little overkill and finds match point for MIBR. And that's it. I mean, the money's gone.
Yeah,
that was everything that you had, really.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like, and again, just, you know, Klim just being able to get those like 2 kills like that. It just felt like it was for free. Like ODDIK it feels like they're very slow. Like it just seems like they're not on the same page. Like I think you brought that up a couple rounds ago where like they didn't really know exactly what they wanted to do. It does seem like maybe the communication is just not as, you know, precise as it normally could be.
Whoa.
Oh, and Sonny.
I mean, keep in mind, right, that they've only played this map twice with this iteration. And you can already see the cracks to form. And on the other side of things, I mean, MIBR have played this plenty of times with this iteration. They've played this 18 times in the last 3 months, and Insani is showing why that's the case. Quad kill for the superstar, and it's just case locks. He's been the best player by far for ODDIK, but has just not been able to convert it into a round. He finds 1 kill on a Breno, but so many more to find, and a minute to do it. He can pick up this rifle for sure, but Klim will encroach upon his position, miss shot, and he'll fall away. But here comes the push from mid. Insani will get himself an ace to round it out, and MIBR will march on into, I believe, the upper bracket final for ECL Cup #1 for Season 51.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking right now. No, you're definitely correct. So yeah, with that win now puts them in the upper final, and then ODDIK now are going to be pushed back into the lower bracket. So again, that doesn't mean with ODDIK losing this game, it doesn't mean they're out. It just means now they're going to go through the lower bracket and fight for their lives essentially, whereas MIBR have put themselves in a great position to keep on moving through the upper bracket. But this is what we talked about, right? Like we knew Inferno was going to be a bit of a massacre in some way, right? We said there was a little bit of hope where ODDIK had been able to beat them in the past, but I think there was a lot more about, you know, just in the sense that MIBR was kind of a new iteration and just a new team as itself. But very impressive showing them 13-5.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work in terms of their development, going to those local lands, and now you're seeing the fruits of their labor, excuse me, on full display. You know, wins over Bounty Hunters and ODDIK, and now into that upper bracket final. Shinden have actually fallen to Glories 2-0, so they'll be in the lower bracket as well. But if we can take a look at that lower bracket, that's a spicy lower bracket to see who could potentially meet up with MIBR, who I'm considering favorites. I mean, it's Imperial and Sharks right now tied 1 map apiece, and Red Canids, who I'd probably favor to make it deeper into that bracket. So one of Imperial, Sharks, Red Canids, and ODDIK are going to only have 1 team out of that to make it into the final. So going to be some heat in that lower bracket for sure, Les.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it actually even looks like the Red Canids LP game is actually going to a 3rd map series as well.
Oh,
so,
wow. Okay,
yeah,
sure.
So this is where, again, I think it just even adds more of the spice of what you were talking about in the lower bracket. Is there's a lot of really good teams that are in this lower bracket, which we were kind of saying in the very beginning of this, saying like, look, like things have gone relatively kind of on course, but the one surprising factor is the fact that the lower bracket really does have like the Imperials, the Sharks, the Red Canids, even Bounty Hunters were a conversation at one point, right? Like these are a lot of big teams that are in this position right now, but boy, oh boy, what a position to be in. But, you know, congratulations to MIBR. They put themselves in the upper bracket, continue to go on winning ways. That's going to be it for us here today for the South America stream. My name is Laz, and joined by Paladin, and a shout out to our production, of course. And make sure to tune into the action. You'll find us all on the socials. We'll see you another time. Bye-bye. Klim has to just pop off now. He has to get this kill. He finds that first and does get the second. So now he's been able to put up a little bit of a barricade, but he needs more if he can. His team
Surprised that this change has come through.
has got the noise cue. He's going to have an easy backstab.
His team, so takes the easy shot. But now here's the easy.
This allows him to cross into the site not too badly, but they still have to worry about these CTs close on. Hey, and look at that, the dualies. Woody now. Bad considering what they had worked with the previous. Ball flash coming through. The lanes to figure things out. Woody gets flashed, and that Molly I thought was maybe going to catch him, but both his teammates
with this 5-7.
Yo, man, he's already pushed all the way through. He's just going to want to have this, you know, as a guarantee, but now double player into us. A bit more of a challenge on this one. The double nades go through sight, just host into this. Do they still want to decide to go for it? Yes, they will. They can pop open the smoke nicely. Case Locks is now getting required for a big test. You've got
capitalize.
nicely, so that might give him a slight advantage. Oh no, he actually just runs right into his opponent. This is not the way you're gonna lose this round.
Not really doing just yet. Finally, the flash comes through, but
What do you feel? All of a sudden, it just leaves down to Glim.
oh wow.
Okay. A little awkward. Ooh, that one's
Side of things, I mean, MIBR played this plenty of times with this iteration. They played this 18 times in the last 3 months, and it's.
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my feet become. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. 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 Going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my feet become.